Welcome to Caching Waves. This is your Elliott Wave update for FLR. I just wanted to make you aware to you guys that I did close my long out. If you watched my previous videos, saw this WXY. What I did was buy at the 618 extension of this W wave off the X. Stop was at this low as a running flat and expected this move to the upside. I took profit just shy of the 2.236 extension. So that's closed out. I'm currently sidelined on it. And we need to go over this count because my primary view has changed on what's happening here. So first of all, we had our targets there at the 2.236 at 2.8, right at this order block here. Was expecting to get resistance there and to sell off and look for a short once we did something like this, and expected to correct this entire move out to 618 in time of this move. I don't think that's happening now, just based on what happened here. But just keep in mind, when we see a trend acting exactly as an impulse should be, we have to go with those guidelines in Elliott Wave. It's the most likely probable thing to happen, which is why I don't change my mind and say, oh, what if it does this? What if it does that? What if it does this? I make those deductions after it doesn't follow those guidelines. I have ideas of what could be happening otherwise, and I'll show you that. But I have to go with probabilities, and the probabilities were the top was right here if this was a 5-wave impulse. So if it's not a 5-wave impulse, again, it could be complete here. I don't want to say it can't. It just goes out of guidelines. We came out of our trend line. We have a lot of volume on these candles. So we have to say, okay, that's not usually how a 5th wave tops. We usually don't get that much overthrow. We passed the 2.236. This does not really look like a diagonal. It blew right out of our diagonal channel. So at some point we have to say, like I just said about following guidelines, it didn't really follow guidelines of a diagonal, right? We should have rejected right there. Came out of the channel, started correcting to the downside, but we haven't. And since then, we're consolidating sideways, which is a bullish indication. So I took the last couple hours to go over this and measure everything. And what I think is happening is we're actually getting a diagonal. Let me get rid of those. So an ABC, when it goes to the 1.618 extension, looks the exact same as a 123. Same amount of waves, same extensions if it goes to the 1.618, standard extension for a C wave. So it's very difficult to know the difference. But when stuff starts going against guidelines, waves starts going against guidelines, you can say, oh, is it an ABC? If it is an ABC, then what's happening here, right? So I think we're actually making a diagonal to the upside. Took my measurements. So my standard measurements when we get a shy retracement, like here. Now on linear, we came between the 382 and the 50. On log, we came between the 236 and the 382. So when we get a shy retracement, I take my extension of my first ABC as wave 1 off my 2, and my target for my 3rd wave is between the 618 and the 786 of this wave 1, which we have hit and we are stalling at. If you're on linear scale, that's log scale, I look for that. On linear scale, we look for the 1.236 and the 1.382. And look at that, we've stalled right at that target. You use both scales for this. So our first was an ABC. This becomes a WXY, ABC, ABC, and this actually works better. We made a expanded diagonal, ending diagonal. Get our A, B, C. So this can get a little bit higher and then come back down, but I'm not concerned that it's going to get away from us or anything like that, as long as these counts are accurate. But this one seems to be, this is going to be my primary from here on out. There's too much chop in here for it to be an impulse. So this makes the most sense. Now, one thing to realize here is we don't have to overlap with wave 1 as per the new rules for diagonals. And in fact, you see them not overlap more in crypto than other markets. So what I expect to happen is to flip this order block to support. So I want to see support between the 236 and the 382 of that third wave, just like you saw previous here. Flip that order block, use it as support, right? Flip this order block, use it as support right here. Flip this order block, use it as support, as you can see. So expect this trend to continue. It doesn't mean we can't just spike through it real quick, like we did here, right? Or over here, it can spike down a little bit, but I expect to hold this level. If we do come down a little bit, it'll probably be a quick spike and a quick reversal. So from that, I'm just projecting in the future. But if we hold between at the 618 area there, I'll be able to navigate these better once we have the pivot in. I'm sort of, again, just using guidelines. But if we come to this area, I expect us to grind a little sideways here for a while and then make our other 3-wave up for our 5th, again, targeting the 618 and the 786 of this third wave. So you extend it off the third wave, off the wave 4, whenever it ends, you want the 618 and the 786 on log scale. And on linear, that's the 1.618. So around 3.8 cents on linear, on log, a little bit higher actually. So yeah, I'd go with log on this one. Where are we here? I'm just going to mark that out because it'll probably line up again with the trend line. Yep. So if you go back on cryptos, you can check this on, let me think back, Ethereum Classic since inception. If you look at its chart, it on linear scale, it does this. It's like a megaphone pattern. Whoop. Way up to that around 4.5 cents. It looks like that, but on log scale, it just looks like a diagonal, right? So you can shift between log and linear. When that trend line is hit, probably on linear first, that's when I would assume a top is in here. But I'm going to be buying into this area, looking for this long. And if we come back here, it should be a pretty nice move. Again, somewhere between the 618 and the 786. 4.29 cents to, I'd say 5 cents. Get a little bit of overthrow. But that should be a pretty nice move. Right now, expecting a little bit of a correction from the high, about 20%. Not too far from where it is right now. As for time, it's hard to judge, but somewhere in this area between the 382 and the 618 extension of time of this move here, the third wave. And then we get our 5th wave out. These are just placeholders for now. Again, I'll readjust once we have the pivots in. So where does that leave us after the fact? Well, we would expect to correct this entire 5-wave move once we get it. Pull back, use this area of support, and this becomes a large 1, 2, and we get very, very, very bullish. I know you can stake this. I've been considering buying a little bit of a bag and staking some because it could be in a trend for a little bit. But I want to see this play out first. I'd buy in the wave 2. So down on the micro, what am I expecting? Again, we can make one more move here, and this could just get extended where the C wave is here as our 1, 2, 3, 4, and we just grind up 5. I just have this as expanded right now because I see this as a 3, 3, 3. So I consider it done. We just got extensions here in the 5th wave. But if we didn't get extensions, that would be a double zigzag, zigzag, and we go for one more. But I don't expect it to get away from us, like I said. So my trade setup will be something like this. Nice little 7.5 to 1. Not financial advice, just what I'm doing. But as of right now, I'm waiting for this to correct. I expect it to grind. It looks like a flat to begin with. So we could get a series of threes here. Just grind down, come up, make a W or X wave, and even something like a diagonal to complete our correction, and then we go up. But I will be tracking this. I'll make sure to give you guys updates. But there are some scalps in here, so I might be doing those if we get a nice setup. But if this top is in, I expect this level to hold currently. But there's not a good entry at the moment to short or long, so I want to see what happens in this area. It's either a flat as a 3-3-5, and then we get our B wave and we just continue grinding down, or it's a 1-2 with a flat wave 2, and this makes a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, and that's an A wave. Come up for our B wave, make our C wave. It's too early to know. Too many things can happen, as you know, with the start of 3 waves. Again, we can even get that one more move to the upside before we come down again and basically double top. All right, guys, so flare is actually looking bullish. I'm happy about that. I am expecting this ending diagonal. Again, this is still possible that we're done, but it goes against most guidelines for a 5th wave, for the channel, for breaking structure. So my primary has become the diagonal. All right, guys, that's it for flare. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.